Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki LaRose. In today's video, I thought it'd be fun to talk about a really popular viral makeup trend that's going on TikTok. And as a professional makeup artist, I just kind of want to give you guys insight as to why this trend or this hack works. So let's actually watch the video together and then we'll dive into it. Okay, so I'm gonna watch the video just one more time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you just say you don't like the color pink? Yeah, no. Yeah, grow up. Grow up, okay? Let me know when you grow up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I don't know who like originated this trend or this trick on TikTok. I sound like I'm ancient right now. So if you know who the original person is, please let me know in the comments. But I will make sure that I tag the person that I just watched. Okay, so now we're gonna do this together. I have not done this trick on myself. I have tried it on a client. It was more so like kind of like a joke just to see if it worked, and it does work, and we're gonna get into that. But I'm gonna mix two products. I'm gonna mix the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Cannelle. Now this is not, I wanna point this out because this is like very important. This is not my exact shade for under eye concealer. From all the videos I'm seeing, everyone's using like a pretty light concealer, but the main thing I'm noticing is all the concealers that they're using, most of them, I'm not gonna say all of them, but most of them are using a very, very yellow based concealer. So they're taking that concealer and then they're also mixing it with a liquid blush or like a cream blush. It's typically a liquid from what I've seen. Majority of the people that I see on TikTok doing this trend are using the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, typically in the shade Happy or Joy, I think I was seeing too. Either way, I don't have that blush with me at the moment. So I'm gonna switch it up and use something totally different. It's the same idea, it's a liquid blush. This one's from Ilia, and it's the Color Haze Multi Matte Pigment in the shade Temptation. The reason why I chose this one out of all the blushes I have is this one looks, to me, it looks the closest to that Happy shade from Rare Beauty that everyone's been using. Okay, so once again, I don't have that exact same blush that most people are using for this trend, so I'm gonna use my fingertip to dab on that Ilia blush. And so they basically just do, let's just do like 3 dots. And since this is not my concealer, I'm just gonna take a little bit out and apply it with a brush. And so you kind of just wanna overlap, like overlap onto the blush, like kind of going in between, like stitching it together. So now grabbing a damp beauty sponge, this one's from e.l.f. I love this sponge. I'm going to just pat it in. My sponge is damp, which definitely helps this process because it just helps to kind of blend the two colors together. You know, if you're using a brush solely or like an actual dry sponge, you'd have a lot harder of a time trying to blend these two guys together. So, okay, so I tried my best to just follow it as I see on TikTok, and I probably could have used a lot more of each product, but you guys get the idea. I don't need to go crazy with it, but I do want to talk now about what this is actually doing. By mixing these two colors, essentially what you're doing is you're making a color corrector. It's that simple. Okay, so now let's get into how I would get this look. I would first start with a cream color corrector in a very light pink / peachy tone. So I'm gonna use, this is a palette for professional makeup artists, but they do sell these individually as well, and so many other brands have individual cream color correctors that you could use, and I'll actually make sure I link a couple really easy, great options in the description box. But since I do this for a living, I have a big palette, which is very intimidating, but basically I'm gonna scoop out just a little bit of this color corrector. This is in the shade Bisque. What this is gonna do, since it has like that pink, almost peachy tone to it, and since this is a cream full coverage product, I just need a tiny, tiny bit of this stuff, and I'm gonna dab it on with my fingertip. And so taking my fingertip, I'm gonna focus it right here, and this is where I have the most dark pigmentation under my eye. So right in this spot, I'm not gonna bring it far down, I'm not gonna bring it all over, I'm just gonna pop it right here. So just patting that in. And by using the warmth of your fingertip, it just helps to melt this like kind of cold cream product into your skin. So it just blends really easy. And that's it. Color correction is done. Okay, so before I put on my concealer, I want to talk about the importance of choosing a concealer for under your eye, not like your whole face, but specifically under your eye that's not too yellow. And the reason why this trend on TikTok has worked so well and looks so good is because from what I'm seeing, they're mainly using concealers that are really yellow based. And by throwing that pink in there, they're instantly neutralizing it. So instead of going through that trouble of mixing those two colors together, try to look for concealers that are a little more warm and pink in their undertone. So just to hold up two as an example, just so you guys know what I'm talking about, this would be more of like a yellow golden undertone concealer. And this is gonna have more of like a neutral pink tone to it. So, and I'm just strictly talking in terms of that TikTok trend. I'm not saying this is gonna be for everyone, but from what I'm seeing, those people just need this kind of tone concealer. Okay, so now that I've talked my husband's ear off and he's so upset with me, I'm going to finish this eye and actually put my concealer on. And for that, you guys know I love the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealers. This is in the shade Honey. I have told so many people to buy the shade, and when they do buy the shade, like if you're my skin tone or a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, this is going to be your jam. Okay, so now I'm gonna dot it on right here. And right here, go back to my sponge and just tap it on. So to finish this trend out, I'm not gonna leave out the blush. I know everyone finishes it with a lot of blush and they blend it really high up, which is a trend that I already love and I'm so on board with that. So let's finish this side. Okay, so before I wrap up this video, another reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place is because, you know, as I watch these like TikTok hacks and these trends that go viral, I want to point out that you have to keep in mind they're not going to be great for everyone. Like just because it works for some people, especially people with like my skin tone or even lighter, doesn't mean they're going to work for everyone. And I think that's something that should be pointed out. So if you have like a deeper skin tone, for example, it's not going to be in your best interest to pop a hot pink blush under your eye and mix it with your concealer because that's not going to work for your skin tone. So by doing it the way I demonstrated, you'll A, be able to customize for your specific skin tone, and B, you'll use a lot less product and still get a beautiful, flawless result. Let me wrap this up by setting my under eye using the Givenchy loose setting powder. And basically, my closing thoughts as a makeup artist is just that it's a great trend and I think it works really well, but I think you can just eliminate that lengthy process of mixing those two products together and instead just find a really good, more pink undertone concealer for under your eye that will work just as well and it will give you such a beautiful effect and you won't have to go through the hassle of mixing those two products together. And also, I just want to point out one more thing. Just because you can doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So just because you can put a liquid blush under your eye, it doesn't mean that it's probably the best idea. In fact, liquid blushes and blushes in general, they're formulated to be put on your cheeks, not under your eye. So for some people, it could cause irritation under your eye. So just a forewarning, just something to keep in the back of your mind when you're watching these trends. That's all I have to say about this. If you guys want me to cover any more TikTok trends that have gone viral or that you're curious about and you want to know if they work or not, or if you just want to know my thoughts on them, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.